Alright, I was gonna do a stream about Dragon Ball today, but I changed my mind. I'll do it tomorrow. Instead, we'll address some of the news stories and then we'll say sayonara after probably 40 minutes to an hour. So I really did want to do one of those streams again, but I guess I just get a little fatigued after a while. And with the Trunks one, I'm probably gonna do tomorrow. I just didn't have all of the information I needed, but that will be the complete reverse come tomorrow because I have most of it. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. So be on the lookout for that when it comes out tomorrow. I'll just keep repeating myself. Like I got the string on my back has been pulled and it's broken, so now I'm just gonna keep saying the same phrase over and over.
You're the guy with the gun. The person who do.
Oh, hate those stupid pop-up ads. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director Anthony Fauci said Sunday that it is likely the certain virus will become a seasonal occurrence. The infectious diseases expert told CBS Face the Nation that it is likely the virus will assume a seasonal nature because it is unlikely to be contained around the world this year. Unless we get this globally under control, there is a very good chance it will assume a seasonal nature, he said. We need to be prepared that since it will be unlikely to be completely eradicated from the planet, that as we get to next season, we may see the beginning of a resurgence. The possibility of resurgence is why the federal government is working so hard to improve its preparedness with developing a vaccine and completely clinical trials on therapeutic interventions. Hopefully, if in fact we do see that resurgence, we will have interventions that we did not have in the beginning of the situation that we're in right now. Fauci also said on the Sunday morning show that it would be a false statement to say the U.S. government has the oops. Oh well, there goes my monetization. Damn, they really are just hard in the paint anytime somebody says that word. The coronavirus pandemic under control. The infectious disease experts previously warned the U.S. needs to prepare for the coronavirus to be cyclical last month. The U.S. has counted more than 3,021 cases, 321,000 cases of coronavirus, leading to at least 9,000 deaths, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. I caught the super far left people that hate Bernie spreading fake news yesterday. They said that Bernie no longer supports Medicare for all. Like I said, if anyone actually believes that, I don't see the point in even bothering to talk to them because they're just spreading misinformation like any old rabid person online. They should say he's the only one that supported single payer. Do you mean that from a standpoint of the data or just from what I see outside? Because I have to go look up the data. But I can tell you that when I go outside, you got a lot of people who are walking that I have never seen before just on my street. You go out at maybe 2, 3 in the afternoon, which is around the time it is now, and you have these people that are in pairs and they're with their kids and they're just zooming all down the neighborhood. And I'm watching it like, what the hell? Well, I just wanted to make sure because I guess what I keep trying to explain to people is the reason I find the part of this story where they're mentioning the cases and the deaths so interesting is because to see somewhere like New Jersey that's not even half the size of my state have more people. No, we always could go outside. It had to be for essential things. But I'm saying that to see a state like New Jersey that is not even, I don't even think a third of the size of my state, have more cases than us, that really should put on edge. Just like some of these governors really need to have this just sprayed for the rest of their life down, in terms of what their legacy is. Like I remember I was praising DeSantis in Florida because of some of the stuff he had done in his first year. That a lot of that's been completely erased by this. He's acting like a complete buffoon now, where you've got these kids on these beaches, you choose to not shut them down. You start deferring responsibility to the people who own the beaches. It's like, what the hell? You're the governor. You're not supposed to just sit there and let people infect each other like crazy if you can stop it. If they want to have a party in their home or do something that is not in a public venue, then he shouldn't get blamed for that. But if they're going to go to places where he has control over whether they're open or not, he's going to sit back and go, "Well, my hands are tied." Just useless. Let me see what New Jersey's population is. 8,000, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I read the number wrong. 8 million. That's because I looked at the so the, it's 8 million, 8,000. That's I looked at the first four digits and said that. I apologize. Now somebody's gonna come on here and say Justin doesn't know math. He's been revealed. But no, my state has either 39 million or 40 million people, and I say that because sometimes they fluctuate the numbers. So New Jersey's not even a fourth of the size of my state, and they have more cases than us. That's why I was saying that when you actually look at the numbers of just what places are really affected by this, it gets even creepier. Like how horrible are these state officials to to have more cases than us? Jesus Christ, they're going crazy over there. And New York is, I tried to explain to someone that one of the reasons it picked up over there so much is because New York has uh, basically a shortage of cars in terms of people don't they're more likely to be around each other pretty much all day long because they go to work. Obviously, there are other people there. They get in one of these buses or train stations or something. Any of the metropolitan stuff. They're going to be in public transportation with other individuals spreading this thing around. So it really is not a surprise that it exploded over there. And it sucks too because you can't tell people to not use public venues when they've become so accustomed to using them. But then you also have to deal with the fact that that's a big reason for why so many people are infected. Yeah, I've heard about them as well. I just know they're not doing as bad as New York and New Jersey. Because I read some story from the Hill yesterday. New Jersey's doing the second worst. If I can pull that up. Also, if I have another stupid ad play, I apologize. Hill has this thing on their website where they like to have videos pop up.
I know that there is.
Yep, just like that one. Very obnoxious. Okay, 200 people died from the virus on Friday night or between Friday night and Saturday morning, and 4,000 more have it. So they have. This is according to Saturday, so it could be higher now. They have three. What is this? 34,000 cases, 800 deaths. They're the second highest number of cases in the country behind neighboring New York. So a state that's not even a fourth of the size of mine is beating us out. Jesus Christ. My favorite part is that now every time they do the White House press briefings and Fauci isn't there, they say, "Where did he go? You must have made him go away because he didn't agree with what you were saying and he was going to say something that Trump wasn't saying. That's why they won't let him come." And then you had Trump supporters who were saying, "Does he have to be at every single meeting? I don't understand." Uh, and then we found out that apparently there actually was a public disagreement where uh, Fauci basically came out in support of doing just what is it, a nationwide stay-at-home order, and then Trump won't issue one. So places like Alabama, where the governor is basically sitting on her hands, are getting this disease like crazy. So because of that feud, or because of that public disagreement, people thought that was one of the reasons he didn't attend and get invited. And then the Iranian supreme leader is saying they're going to resume low risk activities on April 11th. I don't know what the hell that means, but apparently they must have some kind of secret cure we haven't heard about. Also about what was it yesterday? I went to the grocery store for the first time since they did their little everyone must wear a mask thing, and it was horrible. It was so hard to breathe under that thing, and I had the I guess my breath going into my glasses and fogging everything else. And I'll be going to the market a lot less. That's a good way to deter someone from wanting to go to one of those places where you make it physically uncomfortable for the person to show up, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, we're doing this for the public's health." Yeah, but you gotta ask yourself if being 6 feet away isn't enough, and washing your hands isn't like I just at a certain point it starts getting kind of ridiculous. Like Ruben said, Ecuador is handling the crisis super horribly. I haven't seen any articles on that. Let me go look it up. A CNN article from yesterday: bodies are being left in the streets in an overwhelmed Ecuadorian city. There was some news story about maybe a week ago where people were throwing because some idiot, and I think it was Russia, came up with the idea that yeah, animals are spreading the disease as well. So all of these people threw some dogs and cats out into the street, thinking that they were apparently going to get infected by them. Now, if they were smart, they would not let their animals walk around God knows where and catch the disease in the first place, had they actually been transmitting it. But again, that's nonsense that someone made up, and a lot of pets had to die because of stupid people, which is nothing new, but still kind of disillusioning. Oh, here we go with CNN. They have the I don't know why all these websites love having these videos just pop up. Okay, good. I don't have to click that one. The streets of Ecuador's western city of Guayaquil are deserted, with few residents in sight, and a few dead as bodies are being left in the streets of this overwhelmed place. The coronavirus pandemic is overloading the public services in the country's most populous city, to a point of collapse. Hospitals have no beds left to accept sick patients, and morgues, cemeteries, and funeral homes are straining. With no place left to put them, some residents say they have no choice but placing them outside. It's unclear how many of the deceased are dying because of COVID 19. Many families say their loved ones had symptoms of the virus, while others only know the ill were unable to be treated at Guayaquil's overwhelmed hospitals. "We have been waiting for 5 days," Fernando Esponda said in a video obtained by Reuters on March. Oh, here we go. All right, let me get back to this damn thing. As he complained about the struggle to have authorities come pick up his family member, "We are tired of calling 911, and the only thing they tell us is to wait. They are working to solve this," he continues as he moves the camera through a window to show a black plastic wrap shape inside the home with two fans blowing on it. "The smell is too much to take. It's the odor from the body that one can no longer handle," Espana's neighbor Glenda Lara Vera says in the same video from across the street and behind the mask. "And we also have neighbors that are elderly. I have my mom who is 80 who is also having respiratory problems." Video surveillance from last week obtained by CNN shows a motorcyclist abandon the body in the street. Hours later, a group of people dressed in special hazmat suits are seen picking up the deceased and driving off in the vehicle. Yeah, this sounds like a hellhole. In a video, another video obtained by CNN, a group of people remove a body from a car covered in face masks. They wrap the body in what appears to be a black tarp. When a police vehicle approaches minutes later, a conversation takes place and the group puts the body back into the car. Police told CNN they could not offer details about the video. "We're going to tell you about the video, but then not tell you about it at the same time. Just know it exists." It's kind of weird that usually they'll give you details even if they don't want to release the video. National figures show that Ecuador's authorities have collected more than 300 bodies from private homes in the city, which has 2.99 million residents, according to the CI Factbook. Between March 23rd to 30th, the city is on the Gaius River and is the nation's major port. Britica, whatever this website is, calls it the country's most economically important city. And they're going to start talking about some other people. And that's as far as I'm going to read of that. And there's the article. For those who want to read the whole thing, I read enough. So they're throwing bodies in the middle of the street because the morgues are overwhelmed. And a bunch of people can. It really kind of, outside of that part, doesn't sound that much more extreme from what's going on in New York, where they're talking about being overwhelmed at the hospitals. Jesus Christ. Did the Wisconsin primary get postponed yet? Let's see. I don't think so. Yeah, the state legislature declined to take up an effort to delay it, so they're going to hold an in-person voting, which I don't know how that's going to. I'm a little confused as to what exactly that means, but they've declined to postpone it. They basically said, "Screw you and your health. Go to hell," pretty much. Yeah, I don't get why these states have a great aversion to easing when exactly. The Illinois thing is always going to be the dirtiest crap ever. You get this huge health crisis starting, and you say, "Oh yeah, everybody just go out and vote." I know you've been really sick of Jimmy lately, Ruben, but he actually told a story of how he has one of his friends who supports Sanders, but the guy couldn't afford to go out there to vote for him and get that disease because if his wife got it, he would die. So basically, it's just an example of how Sanders should have at least came out and said, "We need to delay all of these until this thing is over." I think that's pretty much all of the major stories. Let me see. Oh yeah, for next week's batch of videos, I actually have one about Carlson queued up because he said something really stupid. It's not surprising, but it'll be kind of entertaining, I guess. Both Trump and the resistance have really damaged this nation, especially with how they've handled the crisis. Yeah, first deny it and then claim you're doing such a wonderful job in responding to it. That always works. So sometimes I think these people don't actually get how the internet works, where we can pull up his earlier tweets and his previous statements about the disease. But then you want to take credit for your masterful handling of it. And the resistance basically just tells you to kind of get over any aversions you had to the that bill that they put out, that supposed stimulus package. That interview with the Texas lieutenant governor, where he just let that guy speak his psychopathic idea. Yeah, we're going to kill ourselves so that everyone later on can benefit from the economy. I think the same thing happened with another Fox host. Was that I think that was Stuart Varney, where he had Louis Gohmert on there, and Gohmert was saying some crazy crap, and then it took him after the interview getting backlash to distance himself from the comments. They love doing that. They let people say weird stuff or just things that really are kind of far out there, and then afterward they're like, "I don't support these remarks." Like, well, you should have set down the program because now every time somebody plays that clip, you're gonna look like you do. Hey, Ruben, remember when Cenk was running and they took the clip of him interviewing who was that? Klan leader Duke, and he was like calling him a racist throughout the whole thing, and they took one little snippet and were like, he didn't condemn him for his racial remarks. Like, yes, he did throughout the whole interview. But they basically tried to accuse Cenk of what Fox does with pretty much everybody that shows up on there that says something, not even a different opinion, just wrong or actually crazy. So like, Texas and Alabama have a record of producing some of the most bizarre politicians. I guess you could say every state has some weird ones that come out of it, but usually they're not in any high position. Like they'll just be in the state legislator, and that's about it. Or mayor of some small city, not the lieutenant governor. Yeah, this is pretty insane. He let all the freaks get on TV. Just win an election, and then you can say whatever you want. And you notice they won't even mention the insider trading scandal now. Worst relatives ever. Tell you the one benefit I would get from catching this thing and dying from it was just to not see any of these people again. A bunch of movies have gotten postponed for next year. Most of them looked like they were awful anyway. Well, that's the thing. If they sucked and we didn't even plan on seeing them, what difference does it make? You know, there doesn't really seem to be a point to anything like that. Oh man, these movies got delayed. We're gonna see them? No, no effect on us. Every news story is just about this now. Then a new Giuliani article came out today, and I didn't even read it. He's talking about some conversation he had with Trump. Yeah, they're really. It's just so weird to see him and Trump at the center of this, or to see at least Trump at the center of it, because on the one hand, when you have public officials that basically try to downplay a crisis, they should get punished. But on the other hand, if they're in a position of power, they really do need to do. It's just like with the 11 states that haven't issued stay-at-home orders, no one's talking about them at all. No one is going over there and interviewing people, or I guess not even going over there, but just trying to uh, gauge officials in that state or in any of those states about this topic. Like we should, if TYT likes to call themselves the great journalists as they are for progressive media, they should talk to people in Georgia, in Alabama, all the other states where where there's just nothing being done by the governors. but they won't. Yeah, they flashed that map on TV once. I said, really, 11 states? All these places are just run by people who don't care, that just like catch the disease. We don't mind. Let's see here. Now, Ruben Carlson's been on a downward spiral ever since he got his own show. Like, that's why I hate that most of those news networks don't let you rewatch editions of their show from the past unless somebody tapes it and puts it on YouTube, because it would be nice to actually watch his just opinions of all of Trump stuff. Because basically, the only time you really see him not act crazy is when he's talking about a war, or in sometimes corporate greed. But then he'll still say, "Well, for the Republicans anyway," who are part of the problem. So it's just it's interesting to see him. He's kind of got some decent qualities, but they get overshadowed, rightfully so, by a lot of the more insane parts. I'm not surprised, Slum Digger. That's what they do. I remember there's a channel. I think it's whose channel is that? I remember who it is, but I have the bell and notification on there, and they just won't nothing. Just completely get no kind of you. Like I don't think I've actually seen a notification for their channel in maybe 2 or 3 months, like that actually flashes on the top screen of my phone or anything, which is pretty insane. So I have to just keep manually going back there. So the YouTube is run by some just complete clowns, especially when it comes to the notifying and getting people to view stuff. And I told you they always have the weirdest video in the trending tab or in the recommended. Like that one guy that announced, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, that he was leaving YouTube, and all of his videos had maybe 1,000 views on them, but that one got 400,000, and the comment section was filled with people saying, "YouTube's algorithm is so screwed up. I've never heard of him. Who is he? This is BS. YouTube never told me of who he was." Yeah, Megumi, I was gonna do a stream on one of the other characters from Dragon Ball today, but I changed my mind. I'm probably gonna do it tomorrow though. So that's like I guess foreshadowing. And then after that, we get the stuff that's uploaded over the week. I'm still writing out that new relationship thing, because a lot of what's said there needs to be stated in a manner that is not up to interpretation. So you have to basically make it to where people cannot refute what is fact. Because you do have people who do that sometimes. Character development. Hey Megumi, you probably never heard of this, but with the lady lacking logic, I was telling her about this one time. I was on Reddit, and there was this chick that said, "I won't speak to you unless we only speak by text." And those were her specific words when in the message that she sent me. And Laylac and Logic's like, "I think she meant that she wasn't ready to speak by phone yet." I'm like, Heffa, I literally have the message where she says, "I will not speak to you unless it's through text." To where I actually had to go in my, and I hate doing this, but I had to go in my messages and pull that up and read the exact thing to her. So she would finally drop this little open to into like I've never seen someone try to tell me I'm misquoting a message that I literally have right in front of me. That's why I said, man, chicks are so aggravating. But that'll be discussed on some other point. Okay, just tracking trending tab. The first video is a music video for some rapper that I've never heard of. It just got uploaded yesterday. Already has 2.9 million views. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. And it's because they make that They do it like that where they purposely promote someone. Because I've never seen Kyle in the trending tab. I've never seen TYT in the trending. I think they might have been when they did the video on the woman whose face was messed up, because that's a whole bunch of views. Are making stipulations for communications now. Next will be I only speak to you through carrier pigeon on Tuesdays between 10 to 12 a.m. Well, again, I mean, my thing is at a certain point, I'm not going to keep playing this stupid game. So that's why I said, the my way or the highway thing of let's only speak by text is not going to last long. And it didn't. That's why I cut it off. She sent the last message. No, Megumi, I've never seen you tell someone what someone wrote by text, and then they try to put, like, there's no way of getting around what that person said because you have proof of it. It's not like some phone call where someone told you something, and then you have to remember everything they said. I really think she means she wasn't ready yet. No, she was not willing at all. I thought you were gonna get rid of only one O, but you got rid of both of them. You're gonna put God choice. Like this is some biblical decision. Yeah, Slum Digger. I've never like before, maybe the last 2 or 3 years. I never thought I'd see the day where people treat having a phone call like. I'll give you an example. I was in this Discord server once, and I was trying to talk to this person about this show. Um, Person who, I didn't know if they were a man or a woman, and they announced to me that they're a transgender, so they don't have some feminine voice for me to enjoy. And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell? I just wanted to speak about this show. Oh, but no, people really have reservations about that type of communication now, for whatever reason. So damn afraid to speak. I'm just pussies all over the place. Oh, me too, Blackbird. I even did a video on why I hate texting about maybe, I think, 2 years ago. There was a whole bunch of stuff I mentioned. You don't know someone's tone. You have to wait a longer time for a response. Just all kind of things that were said. I'll never get my head around it. That almost makes it sound like Megumi's gonna like go out and talk to some chicks and go, now detail to me why you would like to not have phone calls anymore. Or imagine if they start using the disease as the reason. Coronavirus is transferable through breathing on your phone. It goes through the vents, it comes out on the side of your face. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't like phone calls, but that is due to my personal aversions. I just don't like talking much, period. I would never tell a woman I'm not ready for phone calls, that she can only text. Yeah, but remember we said, Slum Digger, that when it's the woman, she when it's the man, you got to go with whatever the woman says, and you have to be manly and all this crap. But if it's a woman, they can be cowards. I mean, there's a whole video of them talking about how scared they are to approach someone. So, I'm just saying that it's because a lot of times we don't really have the decision to do something like that. Because one side controls all the power, or has all the power, rather. The only thing we have is just being able to determine if we want to speak to that person. And like I said, a lot of us are so starved for attention that we'll just basically go for anything anyway. Like you saw what they were doing to Morgan yesterday, where you don't even know what she looks like, and just told you that thing with that guy in that picture will always be funny. Where he put that person's picture in reverse image search and got it from some Tumblr thread. Damn. Okay, tiger at Bronx Zoo tests positive for the virus. So apparently animals can get it. Um, Trump warns of rough 2 weeks amid. Okay, that's weird because I thought he said 2 weeks last week. So is it just going to be a continued extension? I would never simp. If I ever do, feel free to ban me. Like I said, I don't ban people for thinking differently than me about it. I just wish that in turn they would not try to force their opinion on me. Like I could really do without the comments of just wait until 2055 and then she will show. Screw that. Told you that's how it goes. Where you have the one person who's puts up with everybody's differences, and then they try to change him and write all this unsolicited advice, and then get surprised when you don't take it because you didn't ask for it in the first place. I can't believe this person who I never was solicited for with my advice is turning my advice down. Who would have thought? Oh, look at Tapper. Do you have a plan? And when he asked Trump that, apparently not during an interview, but during his show, that I doubt Trump even saw. Schumer says fired inspector general will be remembered as a hero. No, he won't. Nobody's gonna remember. The only people in politics that get remembered are a good chunk of the presidents, a couple of senators, and then maybe a few governors, and like maybe 5 or 6 representatives per every 20 years. That's about it. Majority of guys do this anyway due to being so starved for female attentions anyways. Yeah. I mean, that's why I said cause and effect. When you don't get something and then someone looks like they're offering it to you, even if they're actually not, because they don't want to go on a date or anything, you'll try everything you can to get them to actually do it. See what else is here. Lack of national coronavirus strategy creating a more serious situation. Oh, that's that bimbo in Michigan that is running her state to the ground. So she can go there with that. I'm in the same predicament. You aren't the only one. You got to fight the urge. I fight the urge all the time, man. Again, just every time you think of doing it, ask yourself, has it ever worked out? Like all I gotta do is just replay the stuff I've made about this. Like, yeah, this is not gonna be any different. I'm good. Where'd Ruben go? Looks like he vanished. If that tiger got, does that mean what I think it means? Should I kick my dog out now? Oh, I even mentioned that earlier that there's I think it's Russia where people were taking dogs and cats and throwing them onto the street, and then it was because some clown in the leadership said, "Oh, the people are going to get the disease from their animals." And as I'm sitting here looking at these pictures, which are pretty disturbing because it's dead animals lined up on the street, I'm just thinking to myself, why the hell do these people let their animals travel around? It's like just it's oh my god. That's why I don't like a lot of these pet owners, man, because they'll be the first ones to tell you people are mistreating animals and we're giving them a home and blah blah blah. But then they also let them go and walk outside and be out at like today, this morning, I saw a cat out walking across the street by itself at 6 in the morning. No owner in sight. But then if someone goes up and snatches that animal or whatever to it, oh, this is a tragedy that couldn't have been avoided of this animal cruelty. No, it's you guys choosing to not keep them inside and protect them. If you think they're so hard, you know, defenseless. Gumi says it's something I've been dealing with for years, so it's the main reason I'm disillusioned by it. Yeah, me too. I responded hard, put that thing away. Man, too soon. That's because they thrive of entertainment, the thought of something possibly happening or manifesting. Oh, they thrive off of entertaining that thought. I read it incorrectly. Well, I have a special place in my heart for animals and a special hatred for anyone who harms them. I think it's very telling if humans can harm an innocent dog. No, no, I'm not saying that I agree or support harming animals. I'm simply saying that a lot of these pet owners, especially the ones that have cats, because I see them just all over the place, they'll tell you in a heartbeat that the animal is defenseless, that it needs to be taken care of, home, all the shelter, but then you let it go around a bunch of neighborhoods by itself, and then you get surprised when it runs into trouble that it can't get itself out of. I even made the comparison. Somebody said that that little kitten is like a baby. Well, would someone actually let their toddler go outside at 5 or 6 in the morning? No, no, nobody would do that. Like they want it both ways. They want to have the animal travel around everywhere by itself, and then they also want nobody to do anything to it, including other animals. I guess some people enjoy that, but I'd rather be on or off, ambiguous. Trump bases are super enthusiastic about Cruz. Now, are you surprised that all Cruz has done since what 2017 is basically just suck off whatever position Trump has? Like, remember he was the big anti-establishment person during Obama's term, and then he just completely went to being for Trump after that. Like I literally am surprised he doesn't vote with Trump 100% of the time. I think he is just the biggest bootlicker ever in the Senate for him. More than Graham, more than anybody else. You would almost think that election cycle didn't even happen. What do you think of? Okay, let me see. Where's I feel like there's something I didn't read. No, it's okay. I did read everything. I feel so proud. I got the whole chat read. Then there's gonna be somebody like, "You didn't read my message." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And they said, "I'm unsubbing. I'm out of here. I'm gonna get on my tractor and travel away." Now Cruz really turned into just the biggest bootlicker in the world. And like I said, I guess that's something I just kind of gotten used to where you can go look at clips of people run against each other in primaries and they'll say, he's a hoe, he's bought out by the donors, he's gonna kick all these people off the hill. And then a couple of years later, well, he was an excellent president who I frankly would hope to have the endorsement of. So that's how they roll. No integrity whatsoever. It either means they were lying then or they're lying now. Oh my God. Isn't politics all about bootlicking anyway? They bootlick the populace and pretend to be your friend. Black Brit says politicians are the worst. Well, look, you do have certain ones that kind of don't care, like that will get a House seat or a Senate seat and just say, "This is as good as it gets for me. Now I can do whatever I want." That's why a lot of times when they're on their last term, they'll do stuff that is a lot more like with Romney when he voted to impeach Trump. A lot of people are saying he wouldn't do that if he were someone like Tom Cotton, where they're hoping to run for president eventually and get the support of those same people. Man, I'm so sick of hearing about that damn wall. I've been hearing about that for what is it, 5 years now, and it still hasn't been made. Man, even Schiff, who I despise, even he was correct that Trump said that it would be paid for by Mexico, and then the Mexican president said, and I'll never forget. It was so funny because of how just the broken English. Wall is stupid, waste of money. Oh my god, we would have never had that longest government shutdown ever if apparently Mexico was paying for it. So I said it's a scam. Oh no, we started like paraphrasing that line for other stuff. Like when you get rejected by a woman, woman is stupid, waste of sperm. Oh my god. Mexico will pay for the wall. That's why I need the US to finance it in our next bill. Corbyn stepped down as labor leader earlier this week. Oh good, now I can well no, I think I still have to see who succeeds him. Yeah, he's really an example of just like I never thought people just vote for one issue during an election, but that last UK one is proof of that. So whatever horrible stuff happens to them for the next, what is it, 4 years or 6 or whatever, then hey, we can we'll see what happens. Keir Stammer just got elected. He's a centrist. Oh, so much for my vote meaning anything. You vote for Mexico to pay for the wall, and then the U.S. pays for it. I guess the U.S. is Mexico now. Imagine, you know, it'd be funny if Trump actually gave a speech where he said, "So I know I said during the campaign that Mexico was going to pay for the wall, but we have a lot of Hispanics here. So I mean, we're technically like Mexico, you know." Like he just says the most messed up thing in the world to try and pretend. Imagine he actually like tries for a day to change the U.S.'s name to Mexico, just like to now pretend that he did stick to his play. Oh my God, the Brexit, that Brexit that UK will be Israel approved since all of the Tories are hardcore Zionists. I'm going to stay in the party, try and block it. Yeah, Netanyahu controls the world. Him and what's the other one from Saudi Arabia? Bin Salman. And those are two world leaders that I don't, you know, I always talk about how I hope that what do you call it? Nothing. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to shut up. Those are two people that if something bad happens to, I won't be too upset. I won't go, oh no. Might even smile. Man, Netanyahu is just like he is like human cancer. You just can't get rid of him. We had like what 3 elections in Israel in 1 year, and they still weren't able to rid themselves of that clown. So, I haven't seen Walt in a while. I still can't get over him asking if I know how to edit videos after watching me edit a video. After watching an edited video by yours truly. Katz postponed his election because of the crisis. Oh, what an honorable man. I'm gonna go and endorse him now. I'm gonna give a speech at the next APAC. You know, that'd be funny if they let someone speak on it that they think is a supporter of theirs, and that person just completely destroys verbally US Israel policy, just makes them out to be the biggest fools ever, to where they have to rush him off the stage. And it's hard to do that and not have his remarks stick because he's talking very, very fast, like Blur from Transformers. My God. Yeah, Gantz is basically just isn't he just Netanyahu light? They even look like each other, Jesus. You know, we had the same joke about Paul Ryan, where he was supposed to lose to a progressive, according to TYT, and then he retired after they tried to primary him. And the guy that replaced him apparently is like his doppelganger, uh, Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones duplicate. Gantz is the Israeli by, oh God. I wonder who I'll vote for. How about neither? You know, someone actually did come on here and asked if I was going to vote for Biden. I said I don't support scum, but Trump is going to get another term. Well, he's not going to win my state. Well, let's see. Last time a Republican won here was what was that 88 with the older Bush. So it's pretty much confirmed he's not going to pick here up under any circumstance. He'll get millions of votes from here, but he's not going to get enough to overcome the probably might be 10 million that the Democrat gets. You don't want to vote for Biden, so now Trump is going to win. Yes, I'm not going to vote for him in a blue state. That'll make a world of difference. A blue state the Democrats have won for 30 years. But I'm the reason he's not gonna be able to pull it off. Okay. Told you people online they don't even care. They just say whatever to try and get someone to feel bad for not backing their garbage. Oops, I have to go on Twitter. I got a count on all my least favorite websites. Why is George W trending? You know what? I was gonna do the Obama one first of the documentaries, but I'm probably gonna skip him and just not skip him, but I'm probably gonna do Bush first because I'm so sick of seeing people praising this clown. Like, they have so much Trump derangement syndrome. They are now actively supporting a man who started the longest war in American history, who handled another crisis, which was Hurricane Katrina, I think just as awfully. You know, when I read that he had a 60% approval rating, what was it, 2 years ago? I wanted to vomit because I was there. I saw the recession. I saw these different conflicts that we were in. Like, this is insane. I would never vote for Biden. They'll never take progressive seriously if we do. That's what I was saying. That you remember the Lawrence O'Donnell clip they've been playing of him saying that he knew that he didn't have to do anything for progressives because they had nowhere else to go, and that the only way to get a party to actually change is to just not vote for them and show them they can't win without you. Told you if I got my way, we would have every time a progressive doesn't win the primary, no, the Democrat that wins will not get my support. You had Packman talking about, I would vote for Bloomberg if he was a nominee. Well, you're stupid for saying that. Because if you're truly a progressive, why would you support a man who's opposed to everything that we want to do except maybe the environment? So I'm not gonna back trash ever. Under no circumstances. I know that Ruben's gonna vote for him. He gave a speech endorsing him yesterday. That was quite a huge drop in the live view count. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is wrong with people. Whatever. I just gave up, man. Just like this. I don't know. They want me to pull out some balloon animals or streamers. I'm finished. No, Pac-Man. He said he would support whoever the Democratic nominee was, and I thought that was completely insane because TYT did the same thing with Clinton, and she disrespected them like crazy. She wouldn't go on their show. Uh, ignored. I mean, I don't. It's just like I said. These people are always going to be treated like uh, scum for as long as I'm around. These neoliberal candidates. We didn't say you weren't here, Slum Digger. I was just responding to some of the things that were being said. I announced my support of Biden in a pro-Israel meeting alongside Bakari Sellers. Oh, that's that clown that said that Sanders 2020 campaign died when he disrespected Obama on MLK Day, and I'm just like, man, you guys disrespect. You know what's funny? And look, Slum Digger, I know you don't like know much about the political stuff, but if you in the U.S., we had people know what the civil rights movement is. We had all these different major trailblazing uh, figures, and the only one any of them care about is King. Like his top guy, Ralph Abernathy, who took over as the leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference after he died, completely ignored. No coverage whatsoever, not discussed at all, just thrown to the wayside. And he had a longer career than King because he was around for the 70s and 80s too. Jesus Christ. That's why I don't like a lot of these American what's a good word for it, analysts, because they know only they claim to be experts in the field, but then they know very few people historically that were in that field. Like I guarantee you most people couldn't even name the big six anymore, aside from King and maybe Lewis. Macaria spent all of both this year and last year talking crap about Sanders and praising establishment Democrats. He also supported Hillary during 2016. Is fine with Israel. Oh no, there's a voice clip somebody uploaded of him that proved he was the ultimate trash when I think it was during the 2016 primary. I think before voting started, and he said he would support Sanders, and he was talking him up. When I heard that recording, I thought someone was doing a voice impression. But that's how just garbage these people are. They will talk you up in 1 minute, and then a few days later, you're the devil incarnate. Hey Megumi, I know you're not into the political stuff either, but we had this guy named Andrew Whitaker, and Trump said he didn't know him, had never heard of him. And then a couple of weeks before that, someone played a clip of him saying, "I definitely trust Mr. Whitaker. He's such a." Just sitting there like, what? It's like you have like eight personalities. You know this man, but then you don't know him. And it wasn't even like a thing of, oh, they caught him on a hot mic. They had a recording of him talking him up maybe a couple of months before, some weeks before. It was. That's why I said people are scum. Hey, Ruben, my favorite thing is that progressives claim to care so much about their movement, but then two of their members, Markey and Talib, are both getting primaried right now, and they're not even like doing anything at all. They don't campaign for it. Well, I know they can't do that, but they don't donate nothing. Just so when they lose their seats and they have an even more conservative Congress, they'd be like, "Oh, people also forget civil rights included white freedom riders as well." Yeah, they do downplay the role of a lot of whites with respect to their role in advancing civil rights. They don't care. It's just that when they talk about that movement or anything with having to do with the advancement of the rights of African Americans in the U.S. and they go to that period, it's usually just them just sucking off the same two or three people and ignoring everybody else. The various personalities transcends even further than just chicks. LOL. Slum Digger says Trump baffles me. I still don't understand how someone so incompetent could lead the most important seat in the country unless I'm missing something. Well, again, I said he won the primary because he had high name recognition. The Republicans were fractured. First, they wanted Bush, and they wanted Rubio. Then they finally settled on Cruz, and by that point, it was already too late. Uh, Pretty much. Oh, yeah, Black Brit. King apparently is now a conservative, even if we have him admitting that he was a socialist. But that's how they do. Same thing with Mandela. They try to pretend that part doesn't exist because that's inconvenient to their narrative. Yeah, but as I was saying, he won the general election because Clinton was unfavorable in a lot of the swing states like Wisconsin, and also didn't campaign there. Although again, there's reason to believe that even if she did campaign, she would have lost anyway. Yeah, I remember that, Ruben. I was shocked. He got out in September. That boy was leading polls like crazy, and then Trump got in, and then he just kept. Yeah, Megumi. I even mentioned it earlier. I said that it was hard to breathe in. Walker was a complete, and then he loses his governorship 2 years later. That was not his decade. It was just L after L. And then remember, I survived the recall election. Well, he didn't survive that election or the one after it. And I remember the guy he lost to, I think, is a union guy. It was crazy. I was all excited. And then he's pretty much doing nothing now. All right, so I think we've reached the apex of the stream because I am getting kind of like run out of things to say now. If there's any further comments, questions, thoughts, opinions, speculations, theories, speak now or hold your peace for another 24 hours. So, considering how interested in politics you are and how good you are at parsing through all of it, have you thought about pursuing it as a career? I know you mentioned something like that before. Yeah, I thought about running against my Congress person, but the issue is that with this, like, there's two things that are upsetting to me. I don't want to run and then not have any kind of fundraising base, and also the like lack of name recognition are two things that get me in to kind of like think. And now you've got this pandemic that, for all I know, could cross over into the next election cycle. Let's say I want to run in 2022, and then this thing is still going on, or it cycles back. That's going to screw up the campaign. Megumi says, I'll hold my peace. Still a bit annoyed. I got my notification late to the stream. Well, I don't know what else I can really say. Because Ruben had the same problem, but I started DMing him when I streamed. So I don't know. Maybe I'll think of something else. Why go straight to running? You could work for as a supporting staff right now, build a resume. Man, I'm so done with resumes. After, hey, go watch the excrement employers videos rather. I have a category of them on the channel where it's just me showing all these places I applied to. You don't hear anything back. And we're gonna do the third one. I think, what is it, Friday or Saturday, and you're gonna see how insane this thing has gotten. Yeah, the job market. But again, it was bad before this happened because I showed as far back as December 12th where these places were not picking anyone up, and it wasn't just 10 or 20 or 30. We went into the 50s after 2 months, and the next one's going to be even larger. I might even scream during it because it does piss me off. These places are basically playing with my life. So, like I said, there are a lot of people who try to demean others by saying they don't want to do anything and all that trash. But I've never, I never thought I'd see the day where you could apply to dozens of places and just hear nothing back besides no thank you. Tech worker. Oh, me too, Black Brit. Especially I did one last week where they don't even let you, because sometimes they have a manual thing where you can apply to all of their stores at once. I had to go one by one for like a whole hour, just this over and over. It's really annoying. But again, you put up with it because you think that the more of them you do, the higher your chances will be of hearing from somebody, and that is not the case. I still can't remember when you see how many of them I did last week. Not this past week, but the week before that, and you find out that none of them have contacted me. Oh my god. Yeah, Megumi. One of these places had one that was like 22 pages. But that's why I really hate it when people try to do the resume and experience thing because these are menial positions that if that when they and on these same websites, if you try to let's say apply to be some corporate official, right? They'll tell you they want you to have this, that, and the other, the actual qualification. So there's nothing to suggest that I would not be qualified enough to handle whatever the position is. You just have a lot of people who are not interested in trying to recruit me. They're just apathetic. And that's pretty much the real reason why it's not going anywhere. But yeah, that one website had a 22 page one. And I'm like, you want me to bring a resume, which they didn't actually want me to. I was just thinking about what people write on here. It's like you want me to be to put a resume on something that's that long where they ask all of these questions anyway. Yeah. Like I got so tired of filling out that on a scale of 1 to 5, would you rate yourself as smart, humble? I'm just like, man, no, I might go back to that site and screenshot it, but you get the point I'm making that on there they have everything you would even put on a resume in the first place. They have where you list the previous places you've worked, where you list references. Like there's no need for one of those things when you have most of these places doing that. So that was the point I was making when I got disillusioned with this trash. Like I said, the only reason I keep doing it is because people need to yeah, why do you want to work here? I always say to have steady income. Like it's really a dumb question. Well, not only that, but you need it to come in regularly. You think I want to work here so I can be bathed in fry oil? No. Most of the stuff people do is either it always has some like the only thing I do where I'm just sitting there like not getting paid and enjoying it is when it's like like YouTube stuff because I do a lot of stuff on here that I actually like and don't really care about if I'm financed. I just get kind of annoyed that news people can talk about coronavirus from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. But then if I say the word one time, I get demonetized. And then the news people get to just get the big, huge checks. Like, man, you my 8 cents. Gotta lie and pretend it's your dream job. I always wanted to work at McDonald's. It was my lifelong goal to be fry cook ever since I first started watching SpongeBob. Slum Digger said, since I was a young lad, I dreamed of working in the office supplies section of Walmart. I used to sleep with a stapler. It'd be like my sister's singing was so bad, I used to staple my ears shut. That's when I fell in love with the office supplies section. But it doesn't. Megumi, these you can you can do all these things. They still don't take someone. I don't read much theory, but it's that the alienation the socialist nerds talk about. Again, I just don't get how people who actively apply can get blamed for not having it. Like, it's the same thing with the chick stuff. That when the number of times you've tried gets to be around 100 or 80 or 90, it's the people who are just saying no over and over again that are the reason. And it's even more verifiable because whether you agreed with it being them or not, it's indisputable that I filled out the whole application because you don't fill out the whole thing, you can't submit it. So when I go through the videos, I show the receipts of where I have submitted this thing over and over again and you just hear nothing back to a bunch of different places because they'll have the store number on there. Like being screwed both ways. Yeah, if you try, you get nothing, and then you get told that you don't want to do anything. Then when you don't try, people say he just is lazy. Well, he wasn't lazy when he was applying to several dozen of these stores every month. That's why I still live in the Twilight Zone, man. God. Yeah, I'm down with a lot of this stuff. At least I finally got all the lines for that episode of that show because that thing has been getting delayed left and right. So I'll finish that up over the next 2 weeks, and then we can see some other thing that's massively edited. So I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I'm going to stream tomorrow at some indefinite period. So have a good day.